Hello and welcome back to Fifth Gear.
Next up, one of the best looking cars I think we've ever had on this show.
This is a car that speaks for itself. I could tell you that it has a 6.1-litre V8 engine. I could also tell you that it produces 425 brake horsepower and that its name is the Dodge Challenger SRT8. But it doesn't seem important.
All you need to know is that it looks like this. And it sounds like this. Hello. Woohoo! Let's go!
The Challenger might look like it's robbed the styling graveyard, but it's actually brand new. It's a big, noisy, orange slab of a car. It struggles to get 15 miles to the gallon, but who cares? It's just about the most charismatic thing you can buy. Except that you can't.
This modern-day muscle car isn't being sold in the UK. Pretty much because every American with a spare 20 grand is on the waiting list to buy one, and there are none left. A few might slip through the net and find their way onto specialist importers' forecourts, but by then you can bank on taxes and duties bumping the price up to £40,000.
The Challenger has always been a revered name amongst petrolheads, ever since it starred in the iconic 70s road movie Vanishing Point. But back in the day, they actually had to speed up the film and dub in the noise from Steve McQueen's Bullitt Mustang to make it seem fast enough. Don't think they're going to have those problems this time.
I love it! It's awesome! Dodge reckon that they've imbued it with all the legend of its predecessors, but the sporting characteristics of a modern sort of sports car. I've got to say, when they say modern, they just mean not medieval. Big lazy V8, 2-ton car, automatic gearbox. It's never going to be very precise. When I turn in, it leans over, but it does grip, and then you get the power down, and it just surfs out on this big wave of V8.
There's nothing better than a bit of yank muscle, and 0 to 60 takes just 4.9 seconds. Stamp on the accelerator mid-bend, and it feels a bit wobbly, to say the least.
We're gonna die! We're gonna jump. Oh, yeah! This is character in a bottle. If you could spray this stuff on you as a scent, it'd be petrol and a bit of sweat and maybe a bit of cowboys. It's just... I love it.
But most of all, I love the fact that Dodge haven't worried about how much CO2 this thing coughs up, or whether the golf clubs fit. They've just tried to make a really cool car. And crikey, have they succeeded.
Now, I think it's fair enough to say that I know this man well enough to know that he really liked that car, using words like crikey and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a brilliant thing.
But I'd like to point out as well that the kind of guys that usually go for those cars are usually experiencing what we know as a midlife crisis.
Listen,
Tom.
Tim, just because I want a huge, orange, throbbing American V8 does not mean I'm going through a midlife crisis.
Absolutely right. So the interior looked shoddy.
It wasn't great.
The handling was terrible.
Slightly weak.
And it was orange. What?
Look, the weird thing was, every time I got into it, I got really excited. It was like being a kid again. And I know that it had all its little foibles, and it actually wasn't very good in some respects. But when they took it home at the end of the day, I got
Tom.
I got a bit sad. And so much so that I actually rang my wife and asked her whether we could have one.
And what did she say?
She said, "You know."